Oh, hello, everyone. It's Dr. Tamara Beckford, and I am here to welcome you inside the EntreMD Business School. This is our wonderful podcast. I am excited today because I get to meet with one of my sister docs, one of our alum from the EntreMD Business School. I'm going to have her introduce herself, let you know all about her business and where she's located. Go ahead, Dr. Noha.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Noha Polack. I'm a pediatrician. I've been practicing in New Jersey for about 30 years at Progressive Pediatrics. I started the practice a long time ago. Um, and I joined the EBS in 2021. And wow, what a journey it's been since I joined. Because since then, I've actually become a public speaker. I gave my TEDx talk. I've just become a whole different person.
Oh man, I cannot wait to dive deep into all that you have done since you've been inside the EntreMD Business School. Now, you know the thing about it is that people come into the school and sometimes they'll come in with like, okay, I'm here to do this, and then their whole life changes. So tell us, what are some of the tangible wins that you had that changed while you were in the business school?
Well, it's really hard to separate my tangible wins from the mindset wins,
Yeah.
Dr. Beckford. I think it's kind of impossible because in the business school, right, everyone around me was doing really hard things
Mhm.
and figuring it out on the fly. So I would, attend our meetings and I'd listen. I'd be like, oh my God, that's a great solution for my problem. And I just kept grabbing one solution after the other.
Mhm.
For example, in my practice, we had a really big amount of collections, patient collections list. And I kept listening and trying to figure out what to do. And the solution was so simple, so simple. Have a biweekly meeting with your staff,
Mhm.
go over the numbers, and hold people accountable. And guess what? The tangible wins are dollar signs.
That
Right?
we're like just sitting out there waiting to be
It was
collected.
waiting. I didn't have to work any harder. All I had to do is meet with my staff for a half hour every 2 weeks,
Hmm.
point out to them, this patient came in on this day. You guys didn't collect. What was the problem? Once they realized I'm going over the entire schedule to see who they didn't collect from, suddenly the collections are up to 100% from patients.
Oh,
So
whoa, wait. What percentage were you before? Because 100% is like,
it was
whoa.
it was a scary low number, Dr. Beckford. It was a scary low number, like 30%.
Oh my.
Because the staff was saying, oh, well, this patient, they're sick, we have to just see them. And I was like, okay, but did you at least find out if they know they have a balance,
Hmm.
not an insurance balance, a patient balance, and they'd be like,
Right.
oh no, what should I do? So over a few weeks we figured it out. I think that was a huge tangible win that
Wow.
came in amount of dollars. So in the
Hmm.
business school, I learned, number one, the importance of having regular meetings with your staff, the
Hmm.
importance of pinpointing accountability to them. They know they're accountable, so they know they're going to do everything they can to do the job correctly. And
Hmm.
then to be a good leader. Wow,
Yes.
what a hard thing to do, to be honest.
Yes, yes. And inside the school, there are a couple points in our lives where we step in there and we come in as we know we need to be leaders, but you're a little bit shy because you feel like, okay, does being a leader mean that I have to be mean? Do I have to be this? And then you learn so much that no, being a leader really means that you're bringing the team along with you. So, what were some of when you think about like, and now this is a big intangible win, right? What you thought a leader was, and then what you actually did once you learned what a leader does, and you're able to bring that team forward.
Yeah, I mean, early on, I was leading my practice, quote unquote,
Hmm.
by seeing patients, right?
Hmm.
Hiring some staff and just letting everybody do their job. But
Hmm.
I guess being a leader is being more of an example, right? So
Mm.
you are going to do an excellent job at your part of the work. But in
Hmm.
addition to that, you're going to hire excellent people under you, and then you're going to mentor them into being good leaders.
Yes.
And so I don't think I can separate leadership from mentorship, in my
Mm-mm.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So my staff gets mentored into how to be good leaders themselves, especially my two office managers.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are now really good leaders. Everyone's stepping up to the plate. Now we all have room to grow, right? I don't want you to think
Absolutely.
that anyone, myself included, is at 100%. But I would say that I feel like we're taking steps forward
Mm-hmm.
towards that. And my staff has really shown great enthusiasm for mentoring, so
Mm-hmm.
that now they're actually happier coming to work. They're excited. They're coming to me with the books we're going to read and talk about, instead of me having to say, what are we going to talk about this month?
Mm-hmm.
So those kinds of intangible wins, so that now I have my staff happier and it's easier to hire because of that.
Oh, that is so heartwarming. Moving from a good to a great leader, really, it took the time to, number one, like you said, mentor the staff. Yes, you're doing the holding them accountable, but the mentoring means that you develop them as people and you develop them as leaders. And then in return, they see the changes that's happening within themselves. So much that, you took some of what we do here, which is we start reading. A lot of us, we
Yeah.
were like, oh my gosh, I had to, the last time I read, I was dusting off some of my journals and I'm reading all things, but we learn how to start really appreciating reading again and we get excited. You took that to your staff and now your staff is bringing books that they want to read. Oh no, this leadership book should be our next book. Like how exciting, right?
It
They've
is. It
seen the
is.
growth. Go ahead.
It is. It's a great thing to see, because then I can see them even like changing in the way they handle everyone else. I can see them changing in how they handle patients. I would say that it really reduces burnout,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? When you find yourself growing,
Mm-hmm.
um, you find easier ways of doing things and better ways of doing things, and it does reduce burnout. I know that's one of your big topics. That's not why I brought it up, but I really did notice that.
Yes. I think what starts happening is that your team is now learning to respond to the challenges versus reacting to it. They're looking and trying to analyze, okay, what are some ways that we can fix some of these things or come up with creative ways to do that versus reacting to it emotionally only, right? Because now they have the tools, which is what you have brought to them. So your leadership and the mentorship, you brought them tools, they have resources where they've read books, they have books that gives them ideas and how to respond, how to creatively decide what's next and what's important. So of course they've seen such a change in their lives, and because of that, your place is the place that they want to work, right? They know that they're
Exactly.
coming in and they're not just an employee, just a staff member. They're a member of a family and growth is involved. So their whole lives are changing. Like, oh, I love it. Alrighty. So those are some like amazing intangible wins. Now, the thing about life and business is that we have ebbs and flows.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
with that, we have some lessons. Now, it's so important for us to really acknowledge some of these lessons and we all learn from it. So within those last 12 months, what are some lessons that you learned within your business that you can now impart to others and say, hey, this is what I've learned so that you can learn from it and build upon it?
I think my biggest hurdle and my biggest learning curve here is really about my mindset regarding hiring other providers,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's so hard, Dr. Beckford. Um, so um, I am now employing many different ways of hiring different providers.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the answer to your question is there's never one answer to the question. There's
Mm-hmm.
always three or four. So sometimes when you have a problem, you come up with a solution and you think that's it, but don't stop at one,
Ah.
right? Find three or four. If you can
Mhm.
find three or four solutions, then at least one of them will work. And so I would say that that's a big one for me.
That is a great, great lesson. And when we do our as a part of our EBS, we have our 90-day sprints. So we're living our day 90 days at a time when we're writing out goals and we're trying to come up with at least we said, okay, write down 20, different strategies towards this, and then your top 7. I love being able to pair that with when you have a challenge, writing down 3 different solutions, because you have now solution number 1, solution number 2, and solution number 3, different ways in creatively, and the solution might be a combo of all 3, but at least you have thought about it and you're not getting stuck in the mind, which we know how it is. That's something that we constantly work on as a part of the EntreMD Business School. We're constantly working on our mindset and how we approach what we term as challenges, in ways and coming up with that. So I love that thought process, like, hey, don't just write one thing down, write down 3 different solutions, and that'll give you the room and the springboard to get some of these challenges. You're able to overcome them. I love it. All righty. So, one of the things that has happened is like you joined the business school. Like we said, when you came in, you were already a private practice owner, but you didn't just stop there. So we've talked about some of the lessons in the business. You've been able to increase your collection. You've grown your team's mindset. You've grown in leadership, but you also started doing other things. Like you became a speaker, you a TEDx speaker, you're out there on stage. Tell us, tell us some of the other things that you were able to develop within you being part of the business school.
I think the important thing that I got from EBS is the importance of impact, right? So as doctors, we all go into medicine, we want to help people, right? So in pediatrics, I think we help a lot of people. We help parents, we help kids, and then we help kids become parents, which I love seeing. But what I didn't realize was I can do that, or I can have bigger impact by having my voice out there. And so I was introduced to other docs in the business group that were doing TEDx talks. And I'm like, wait, we're all the same. We can do this, so I can do it too. And then I started to think about my impact and honestly, on a much deeper level, Dr. Beckford, my legacy. What am I going to really leave behind? Once I'm gone or once I stopped practicing. And I realized that I can multiply my impact by speaking. So that's how I thought about it. We all go into medicine for impact, but this can multiply impact. So that's one thing I started doing. I also, joined real estate investment groups that I met people through EBS. So I would say that I've grown exponentially in terms of what I am confident in doing, right? EBS gave me the confidence and the resources all at the same time, right? To be a speaker, to be a real estate investor, and to continue to be a physician and practice owner.
Wow.
It sounds like a lot, but honestly, it's all the same. It's all about confidence and resources, right? And once you gain the confidence through a great group like this, and then you marry it along with the resources, it becomes, there's no other way around it. You're going to get this done.
I love it. You're like, hey, you're gonna get the confidence being part of this group, right? And then the resources, getting the connections. And it's just because there's like the social network within the group is very powerful. It's a big group of people and they're big hearts. That's the thing.
All givers, by the way, all givers, 100%.
So the confidence, the resources, the group, the network, whatever you put your mind to, yes, you're able to accomplish it because your mindset is already that this is not too much. So from the outside, a lot of people will always and probably often say, well, how are you able to do all of that? And you're looking like, well, I'm just getting it done.
Well, everybody in the room that I'm in is getting it done is actually the answer to the question, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm with those who are doing the same. So it just feels natural at this point. So now there's some people who, are sitting there thinking, I don't know, should I or shouldn't I join EBS? What would you say to that person on the outside that's listening to this wonderful conversation that we've privy them to? And they're deciding, I don't know if I should join EBS. What would you say?
I would say that when I first looked at the price point myself, I got a little scared, but I realized that I'm so worth the investment.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Beckford, a couple of years afterwards, I realized that not only am I worth the investment, everyone around me, my team is worth that investment because I
Mm-hmm.
up-leveled my team. My
Mm-hmm.
children are worth the investment because they're watching me achieve, and now they're achieving more. So,
Wow.
so this is honestly between the resources you get, the mentoring that you get, the
Mm-hmm.
social connections, and honestly the true friendships.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, we've told each other a lot of really personal things,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes,
We've
absolutely.
formed a group of really close-knit people. So I would say that it is, for me, the best money that I ever spent, and the connections are continuing to
Mm-hmm.
grow and grow. So there's no stopping you once you join a group of powerful, smart people like EBS.
Wow, love it. There's no stopping you once you join a group like this. The connections, the growth that happens not just with you, but with those around you. And you said it's as if it's infectious, right? So you grow, your team is growing, but also your family. And that's one of the things that happens in EBS. We're saying we're all about the dream business, but also the dream life at the same time, where our kids are watching. They're seeing us take bold steps while nervous, while intimidated, but moving further along despite all of that, and then we see our kids doing the same thing, our kids accomplishing things because they said, well, either my mom or my dad's doing it, so I can do it too. So there's so much more that you gain from being a part of a community like this. And then once EBS, always EBS, because that's one thing we always do. We said, oh, just connect with that person. Just tell them, hey, I'm in EBS. I do that to know all the time.
We do, yes, it's
We
true.
send messages to each other. Hey, meet that person. Just tell them you're part of EBS, and then you'll be able to connect and be able to see how that you can support each other. So that's definitely one thing. So, any last words before we end this wonderful conversation?
Just a quick recap
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't want to leave without saying that as a business owner, whether you're starting or you're towards the end, you really want to have a good money mindset and business mindset, as
Mm-hmm.
well as a good mindset about growth. And surround yourself with people who are not afraid to make money
Mm-hmm.
and not ashamed to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because once you are successful and you make money, you can have so much more impact. You can give so much more to charity. You can
Mm-hmm.
give so much more to those in need. So that big mindset shift is another thing that I really want people to realize is super important.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't make money, your business can't survive. And if your business doesn't survive, you help no one, right?
Mm-hmm. And
And
that
in
impact you're not able to provide.
exactly. Yep.
Yes.
And in EBS, you get that money mindset shift in
Mm-hmm.
addition to the resources to help you achieve things. So that was another big mindset shift for me.
Thank you. That was very, very powerful. And I love the way you framed it. And which is so important because a lot of those who are on the outside and as physicians, you have the ability to earn a lot and you can be shamed by those on the outside if you try to earn more. But by nature, we as physicians also are givers, we're caring, and we want to have big impact. So the bigger the impact, the more you will earn so that you can have an even exponentially more impact on those who are out there. So being around others who have learned how to not be ashamed of earning, it's important. So you're not going to be in a community where if you are bringing in seven figures or multiple seven figures, you have to hide. This is a community where when you're doing so, you're celebrated. And the biggest thing too is that people will celebrate you and then you get to show your team, you get to show all your people how you did it and they celebrate that also.
Exactly. Exactly.
I love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Noha, for stopping by here inside the EntreMD Business School podcast and dropping lots of gems. So with that, we're going to end this wonderful conversation. But as Dr. Noha said, if you want to make big impact, do not be afraid to earn. Do not be afraid to increase your mindset, to learn, and to have the impact on your team, your family. It's all worth it when you join us here inside the EntreMD Business School. I'll see you guys on our next episode. Thank you so much for joining. Bye-bye.